go ahead and take it away.
Great, great. Good morning again. Welcome back, you all. Thanks so much for spending your morning with us and hanging in there. My name is Kirstin Boehm. I use she, her pronouns. I'm our Senior Director of Outreach, Research, and Development here at VSAC. We're going to get started and start sharing some VSAC and Vermont state updates. I do just want to start by thanking Chris and Carrie and Stacy. We're so lucky to have such expertise and experience and support here at VSAC on the team. These folks trained our staff on all of this content last week, and we're happy to be sharing it with you all. We're grateful to you all for being right by our sides, shoulder to shoulder, also being navigators for students of all ages across the state of Vermont. We share this information with you because it helps us to do our jobs better as well. And Chris and Carrie, I think, mentioned, but on our website, there is also the Financial Aid 101 video, which was presented just like this on September 18th. If you found yourself, in the earlier part of the presentation feeling like, ooh, I could use a refresher on some of the basics of this stuff, that's a great video to go watch, or the slides are there on our website too, just to page through as well. And I'm so glad to be co-presenting with Jodie. I'll let Jodie introduce herself.
Thank you, Kirstin. Hi, everyone. I'm Jodie Ducharme. I also use she, her pronouns, and I am a supervisor in our grant and scholarship operation area. And I'm excited to be speaking with you all this morning. Thank you for coming. We thought we would start off by going over just a quick review of the services that VSAC has available to students and families, as well as schools. We've got our Vermont grant program. Within that, there's the full-time, part-time advancement grant, 802 opportunity, freedom and unity, and micro grants. We're going to be talking a little bit later more in detail about freedom and unity because that is new. We want to give you a little bit more information about that. And you'll notice that some of the items under the Vermont grant program have an asterisk next to them, the full-time, part-time, and advancement grant. We wanted to let you all know that beginning with this current academic year, 2025-2026, there is a grant application process that's now available for students who are not U.S. citizens or eligible non-citizens. We refer to it as the pathway application, and it allows the student to apply for either the degree or the advancement grant, and they can fill out that application. You'll see that the degree grant application is a little bit more lengthy than our regular application, and that's because we're gathering some of the information that would typically be provided on the FAFSA. But since these students can't complete the FAFSA, we're gathering it through that method right on the pathway application. And students can get that. It's on our website. If they go on to vsac.org and look for pathway, it's on there. They can also get it through a member of our outreach team, and they can also get it by reaching out to our grant department. So they've got a few different ways that they can get to that application. We continue to have the VSAC-Assisted Scholarship Program, and for both grants and scholarships, I'm excited to say that the 2026-2027 application is now available for both as of last Wednesday, October 1st. So students can go and start submitting their applications for 2026, 2027 for both the grant and the scholarship. Deadlines for scholarships is February 11th of 2026, so key date for them to be aware of there, and we're going to talk a little bit more about scholarships later on. We still have education loan coaches, the Vermont 529 plan, the Vermont Higher Education Investment Plan, whole school aspiration partnerships, student and adult counseling, the Resource Center, which is a great tool for people who want to come in and have face-to-face meetings. And also we continue to offer college training access information services through toll-free phone access, one-on-one appointments, which Carrie had mentioned, career and college pathways, managing college costs, events, and financial aid applications and form nights. So we wanted to give a little summary of all of the things that we have available. If we can go on to the next slide, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about some of our really popular options that we've got that you all are probably very familiar with at this point because they've been around for a little while. The workforce development funding. So as you might already be aware of, the state of Vermont offers several different forgivable loan programs to encourage students to enter the Vermont workforce in specific high demand fields. These are typically interest-free loans, which means if the student doesn't meet the criteria to keep it as a scholarship, if they do ultimately have to repay it, it's typically interest-free. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like and how we know if a student no longer meets the criteria. It does require the student to sign a promissory note. So when the student is awarded, we send the award letter saying, congratulations, they've been awarded this forgivable loan. And if they want to accept it, they do have to read and sign and date the promissory note and return it. As long as we've got that signed promissory note, we'll disperse funds to the school, the college, or the program, similar to how it works for our grant and scholarship programs. Once we've verified enrollment with the school or program, then we disperse the funds. The student is not required to make any payments as long as they're enrolled in that applicable degree or training program that they're taking that forgivable loan out for. So they don't have to make payments while they're enrolled in school. And the student won't ever have to actually repay that as long as they continue to meet the work obligations that are outlined in that promissory note. And you might wonder, how do we know if the student is meeting that criteria? Each year, we do something called the annual verification process, where most recently we went out for the July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025 time period. And we asked the student, what activities were you doing during this time? Were you still enrolled in school? Were you pursuing your license? Were you working? And they fill out the chart based on what activities they were doing. And depending on how they answer, we'll also determine what additional supporting materials they might need to provide. So if they were enrolled in school, we ask them to reach out to their school to have them send us a transcript. If they were employed, we ask for their employer information and we reach out to that employer to confirm what time period during that year they were employed. So as long as they're meeting the criteria for that, they stay out of repayment. Once they've met the work commitment, then we send them a letter letting them know that they've done so and that the loan has been forgiven. And as long as they're meeting that criteria, they're not due for payments. But if they let us know, you know what, I decided this program isn't for me, or I decided I'm not going to stay in Vermont, at that point, they're no longer meeting that criteria. It becomes a loan. We let them know that, and then our loan department will take it from there. They will send them out any communications about when they're going to be due, the amount that they're due for, and so on. But as long as they're meeting that criteria, they no longer have to make any payments on that loan. All right. And keeping with the theme of the pop quizzes, because who doesn't love a pop quiz on a Monday? I think Chris has a pop quiz associated with this one for us. And the question is, VSAC's forgivable loan programs require the student to make payments while the student is enrolled, and the answer possibilities are true or false.
Answers are trickling in quickly. We already hit 50%. Oh, here we go. 65. We'll give it a few more seconds. All right, we just passed 75. I'll pull down the poll and share the results.
Beautiful. And the correct answer is false. And you all got that right. So yay, awesome. All right.
We have had a couple of questions come in. Would that be an okay time, or would you prefer I hold those for a few more slides?
Whatever you would like to do. If you would like to ask them now, we could certainly do that.
Let's tackle them. First one is, which jobs are considered for the workforce development program?
Great question. So there's a variety of different forgivable loans. We're going to be talking about a couple of them coming up in a couple slides. One of them is the Vermont Nursing Forgivable Loan Program. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that one, where it's specific to students pursuing a nursing degree. There's another one we're going to talk about coming up in a couple of slides. That's the Vermont Trades Forgivable Loan Program, which is available for certificate and non-degree programs. In addition to those two that we're going to be talking about, there are also some specific to nurse faculty. So nurses who are planning on pursuing a teaching career in nursing to teach upcoming nurses. There's also a dental hygiene forgivable loans specific to students who want to pursue a career in dental hygiene. There's also one for dentists, and then the National Guard also has theirs as well. So there's several, and certainly feel free to check out our website. We've got a lot of information available about all of the different programs in the workforce section of our website, and they're also listed in our scholarship booklet, which is also available for the 2026-2027 academic year. We have a specific section that addresses just those forgivable loans, and there's 10 of them. You can check them out. There's a whole bunch of really great information about eligibility, so which students can apply for it, what does that work commitment look like? But great question. There's a lot of different variety in those different fields that is being offered.
Thank you, Jodie. And you mentioned work commitment. It's typically about 1 year of work for 1 year of loan borrowed. Is that correct?
Correct. Typically 1 year of work for 1 year of borrowed. That is exactly correct.
Thank you. That was a follow-up question. That's all for now. I'll let you continue.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris. All right, so as promised, that first forgivable loan that we're going to talk about, it's a really popular one. It's been running for a few years now, and it's getting very popular. For this current school year, 25-26, we awarded all available funds, and we actually had more applicants than there was funding. So just to give you an idea, it's very, very popular. It is available for students who are pursuing a 1 year, a 2 year, a 4 year, or a graduate nursing program. So all different varieties of nursing programs. Vermont residency is not a requirement. So out-of-state students can apply for it. They really just have to have the intention of working in Vermont after. So it could be a New York resident who says, you know what, I want to be a nurse and I want to work in Vermont when I graduate. That's fine. They could pursue that as an option. It will give them up to full tuition for their program, but it can't exceed UVM's in-state tuition rate. And just like the initial slide we were talking about in general with the workforce, the loan is forgiven if the student works full-time in Vermont in the nursing field for 1 year following licensure for each year of funding received. Great. The next one that I mentioned that we would talk about, which is also quite popular, is the Vermont Trades Forgivable Loan. That will give the student up to full tuition up to a maximum of $23,000 for students who are enrolled in an industry recognized training or certification program. So for certificate programs as well as non-degree programs that leads to initial employment or career advancement in a high demand sector in Vermont. And the high demand sector is determined by the Department of Labor. They send us a list of all of the high demand sectors in Vermont. So as you can imagine, some of them are, for example, this is not an all-inclusive list because it's really quite extensive. Welders, people who are pursuing a CDL, electricians, all of those type of things. And certainly if a student isn't sure if what they're planning on pursuing would meet that criteria, they're definitely welcome to give us a call, and we're happy to answer that question for them. But the list of not high demand careers is actually quite small compared to the high demand sector. It also allows for students to apply for a forgivable loan specific to fees. So if they have exam fees and licensing fees, they can apply for up to $2,000 toward that. Again, Vermont residency is not required. So out-of-state students, as long as their intention is to work in Vermont after, they can pursue this as an option. Just like with Vermont Nurse that we just talked about, the loan is forgiven if the student works full-time in their eligible field for 1 year for each year of funding received. I had mentioned that it is specific to non-degree and certificate programs, so associate degrees and up are not eligible for this program. And just to give you an idea of the popularity, last year in 24-25, we dispersed over $2 million in that program, and we're on track to do well over that again this year. So quite a popular program. As I mentioned early on when we were talking about an overview of our services, the Freedom and Unity is a new program that is available with this current 25-26 academic year, and VSAC and Vermont State University have teamed up to offer this. It's a great opportunity for students with a family income of $65,000 or less, allowing them to attend VTSU tuition free, and it builds on VTSU's tuition free promise. It's available for any age student who doesn't already have a bachelor's degree and who's eligible for tuition support at VTSU. It's not available for certificate programs, so LPN, paramedic, but it is available for their degree programs, and it allows support for their general tuition after federal, state, and institutional grants. So any other costs, if they have program-specific tuition, if they've got mandatory fees, textbooks, etc., that's the responsibility of the student, but Freedom and Unity will assist with any general tuition costs that they have after their federal, state, and institutional grants. The awarding is divided up. VSAC is awarding any of the part-time students. And so students, if they log into their My VSAC account and they're part-time, will see any awards there for Freedom and Unity. If they're a full-time student, those are being awarded by VTSU. And so they would want to work with VTSU regarding any award amounts. And if they're a student who initially started out as part-time and they were awarded by VSAC and then they said, you know what, I'd actually like to go full-time, they're going to see, because they were part-time and were awarded by VSAC and are now full-time and being awarded by VTSU, they might see something showing that they're a no need because we're taking that award off and VTSU is awarding it. So just an awareness in case they're wondering about that. But the part-time is being awarded by VSAC, full-time by VTSU. So that's an exciting new program that's available for 26-27 with VTSU students. All right, time for another pop quiz. What do you have for us, Chris?
Another workforce development one.
Beautiful. Okay, so the question is, VSAC's forgivable loan must be repaid by the student if the student doesn't complete the program, their license, and or doesn't work in the field in Vermont. Is that true or is that false?
People are quick to answer this one. We already at 70%, just hit 75. For the sake of time, we'll close this down and share results.
Nice. And you guys are absolutely right. The answer is true.
Wonderful.
Great. All right. Any questions that we have at this point, Chris?
No new questions have come in.
Okay, great. We will continue on then.
Sorry. Technical difficulties. What are you seeing?
I'm still seeing the questions slide.
Oh, good. Okay, go ahead.
And Chris confirmed that we don't have any questions at this point that are unanswered. So I think we're good to move on to the next slide. Great. All right, so dual enrollment and early college stipend. I believe that anyone who attended the Financial Aid 101 got a little bit of information on this as well, but just as a refresher for anyone who did not get to attend that presentation, this is a stipend of $150 to offset the cost of books, fees, transportation for specific students. And those students are high school students who are enrolled in dual enrollment courses through the voucher, free and reduced price lunch eligible for economically disadvantaged. Verified cost for books, fees, and or transportation is associated with that. And then high school students enrolled in early college. And in order to get this, they have to file both a FAFSA and a Vermont grant application, and they have to be eligible for a Vermont grant. And funding is stable for that program at $82,450. And that program helps students to offset the cost of books, fees, or transportation, as I mentioned. All right, time for another pop quiz. Keeping you on your toes. What do you have for us, Chris? Okay, it's going to be about early college. So, early college students who are seeking to receive an additional $150 for books per semester apply for that funding. How? Is it by using the voucher system and verifying their income with their school counselor, or do they need to complete the FAFSA and Vermont grant application?
We just hit 75 very fast. We'll get these results shared out.
Thanks for the awesome participation, everyone. And the correct answer is completing the FAFSA and Vermont grant. That's what they need to do to get that additional $150 for books per semester for early college students. They just need to complete that FAFSA and the Vermont grant. Thank you, Chris.
Well done.
All right, so talking about some additional funding for training programs, there is another program that we have available to support adult or recent high school graduates who are enrolled in training programs, and that is the Curtis Credential of Value Scholarship. And this is a scholarship of up to $3,000 that can be used for a variety of credential and training programs. Students do need to be nominated by a member of our outreach team, so a VSAC outreach counselor. So students can reach out to one of our adult counselors or the VSAC counselor in their high school if they have one to ask about being nominated if that's something that they think they might be eligible to receive. In the last academic year, we awarded approximately $450,000 in these awards. So over 250 students received them, and we've got more funding for this year. And we do nominate students on a rolling basis. So students are nominated and awarded and dispersed all throughout the academic year as long as funding is available. They do have to apply for Vermont grant, either degree or non-degree, depending on what their program is. So that is one of the requirements of pursuing that. Thank you, Kirstin. The next slide we wanted to talk about is the FAFSA completion tool. And the great news is, a few great things. The FAFSA is already available for this next upcoming period, the 26-27 academic year, which is really exciting after a couple years of it being not available on October 1st. So we're excited about that. And the good news is that FY26 FAFSA submissions were back on track in line with last year versus where we started in FY25, where it was lagging due to all of the FAFSA changes. And one of the tools that can help any of our high school partners is the FAFSA completion tool. It's available right through your My VSAC account when you log in at vsac.org, and it will allow you to monitor which of your students who've completed the FAFSA and or the Vermont grant application, and then you can use it to identify those students that you want to follow up with. To use the tool, you will need a memorandum of understanding on file, and most of you already have that, but if you're not sure, feel free to reach out to us and we can check for you if you're not sure. Once you get onto the site, you're going to upload your list of graduating students to the tool, and you'll see on that slide in the screenshot that we have, there's a variety of help links that are there to help you. So there's some step-by-step instructions. There's help with the CSV file. So if you're not sure how to go about uploading that list, you've got all of those tools available to you. And of course, you're always welcome to call and we can provide support that way as well if you're unsure of what to do. But once you upload your file in the suggested format, it's going to display in the blank section that appears below those buttons. And what we'll do is we'll take your list and we'll match the student if we can with our system system and display if their FAFSA and or their Vermont grant application has been processed. So that way there it will help you in identifying those that you might want to follow up with. Okay, VSAC-Assisted Scholarships. I mentioned on that initial slide with the services we have available that we've got the booklet available and the application open for the 2026-2027 academic year. You can order some booklets right online, and we've got the publication site available for you right on this slide. So if you want to get some booklets, there's also some other great publications on there as well that you can order if you're interested that provide a number of different pieces of information, whether it's brochures or booklets or other tools that talk about other services that we have available. All of our VSAC-assisted scholarships and the forgivable loans are right in that booklet. And as I mentioned, the deadline is February 11th of 2026, but we're encouraging students to review the booklet and start now with their essays, asking people to write recommendation letters, so that way they're not stressing and panicking at the last minute trying to get it all in. So they can start doing that now. They can fill out the unified scholarship application and start writing their essay and providing recommendation letters now. Students can actually upload required documents through their own student login on My VSAC, and high schools also have the ability to upload some of their documents as well. Things like transcripts, recommendation letters, nominations, and things like that can be done right through the uploader tool, which is handy. The student does have to have the unified scholarship application on file in order to upload.
You ready for the next one, Jodie?
Yes, thank you. My internet blipped for a second, so I'm glad I didn't lose you all. Great, thank you. And as I mentioned, we've got the VSAC publications orders. You can order them right online. There's a variety of different options. You can also get a lot of information online as well, but this gives you some information on how you can request printed pieces for yourself, your family, your school, and also allows you to download digital versions as well for your website. Any questions?
We
Or
have
maybe
not had any
Chris?
new questions come in.
Okay, great. This concludes my piece of the presentation, and I will be turning it over to Kirstin to take it away from here.
Actually, Jodie, I'm so sorry. We just
Oh,
had one
yeah,
click in.
no problem.
Now that students enrolled in early college need to complete a voucher request for each course they are enrolled in, will they be able to verify stipend eligibility through this system rather than completing the FAFSA and Vermont grant application for 26-27?
That's a really great question. My understanding is they still have to do the FAFSA and the grant application in order to get that stipend, but that's a super question.
Thank you, Jodie. That snuck in there. Sorry to hold you
No
here for more
worries,
minutes.
totally
All
fine.
set now.
Great, thank you. All right, Kirstin.
Great, thank you, Jodie. I'm going to give Jodie a small break and take over, and we'll have time for more questions shortly. First, I just wanted to mention this exciting partnership that we have here in Vermont between CCV and several institutions. So if you have students who are considering CCV or considering one of these other institutions but might want to start at CCV, the institutions listed here are committed to what's called the Vermont Transfer Guarantee, a commitment that students who attend CCV, if they have a specific GPA, which varies by institution, that they are transferring into, and they've earned an associate's degree from CCV, they're accepted into any one of these institutions as a junior. So they have to meet the eligibility criteria for the selected college, and there has to be capacity within the intended major at that college. But the website linked here in the bottom, sort of right, and the QR code will take you to part of CCV's website, and that's a great place to explore the specific programs and pathways with students for that transfer guarantee. As you all know, and many of you who work in schools are great partners with us for the VSAC Senior Survey. Every other year, we conduct the Senior Survey with high school seniors across the state. If you work in a school, spring 2024 was a senior survey year, and we really appreciate your support in getting students to complete the surveys. We had a 70% response rate, which is really exceptional and very representative This fall, coming up shortly, we'll be sending out our follow-up individual school reports for students who participated in the senior survey in 2022. Your schools will get an individual school report, which will show what your school and the students who filled out the senior survey at your school, what their enrollments at 2 and 4 year institutions look like in follow-up. And then this spring, 2026, is a senior survey year, so please look out for communications from us about administering the senior survey this spring. One of the things among many that we learned from that survey is that students are making decisions about their plans for life after high school as early as 7th grade. And this fall, VSAC's Gear Up team is hosting some awesome career events, 2 in the Northeast Kingdom, 1 at Castleton, to support students in hands-on career and STEM exploration. We know these events fill up very fast, and we were thrilled that this year we were able to double the capacity of our Kingdom Career Connect event by offering this event over 2 days instead of 1. So those are coming up this week, and the event is full and it filled up quickly, but we're really pleased that we're able to double the amount of students that were offered this programming to. And if it was something that you were interested in participating in, or others around the state, we do also have a virtual version of this Career Connect event. So Vermont Career Connect is coming up on November 19th. VSAC Gear Up is hosting this virtual event for any Vermont 7th or 8th grader. Often students participate as part of their, full class together. Schools can register at the link there in the box on the right. And we also have a lot of self-service kind of materials for 7th and 8th graders online that can be used by students and families and schools. There's over 100 recorded career interviews, most recorded by Vermonters, talking about their work and what they do and why it might be interesting, and accompanying exploration resources and activities. And we are ready for a pop quiz.
All right, launch.
So Vermont Career Connect registration. While our October middle school career awareness events are complete, schools can still register for the Vermont Online Vermont Career Connect event, which is on November 19th.
Answers are quickly rolling in.
We really appreciate your participation.
See if we can get a couple more percent in participation. Folks are doing great. All right, we just crossed 75. We're going to launch or end the poll and show the results.
Great work. You can still join us on November 19th virtually, and we hope you do.
Wonderful.
Another exciting series of events that we have coming up that we want to make sure you know about are our College and Career Pathways events, again, led by our VSAC Gear Up team. These are designed primarily for 10th and 11th graders, but are open to other grades as well. And the goal is to help those students and families learn about options, get concrete steps, find the right resources, and connect with Vermont experts around choosing and applying to and paying for college and career training. So the events are typically attended by students during the school day. So schools sign students up to participate, and you can see the dates and times here, and these are all on our website as well. And we are planning one Saturday event again this year in Burlington. So that's during the day on a Saturday, designed for students and families. Anyone who'd like to come, it's open to the public. And all of the sessions from the Saturday event are also streamed via live stream or available via live stream, which we've found students and families taking advantage of from all over the state. Every year we have representation from every county, which is really exciting. And then each session and each workshop is recorded as well. And it is a pretty high quality recording. So if folks want to go back and take a look afterwards or aren't able to attend that day, that's a great way to get that content. Please also mark your calendar. Everyone on this call, you're our target audience here for May 8th, which is VSAC's annual Transition and Career Conference, again, led by our Gear Up team. This conference targets school staff and leaders, counselors, work-based learning coordinators, teachers, other higher education and agency stakeholders who work with youth at the transition from high school to what comes next. Many great workshops, a great chance to connect with colleagues across the state. We continue to offer this course called Essential Math for College and Careers. This is a collaboration between VSAC Gear Up, the Agency of Education, and the Vermont State College System, and is born from research that shows that students who take remedial or developmental math courses in post-secondary are less likely to succeed in post-secondary and also incur costs or debt that doesn't necessarily provide the associated credits. This is a really exciting course because it was collaboratively developed by high school professors and post-secondary faculty. It's hands-on, it's project-based with guided student discussion, and successful completion of the course means that students can enroll in math courses at CCV or the Vermont State University without the need for any developmental math. And the course continues to be made available free on Vermont Virtual Learning Collaborative, VTVLC, and we're always looking for schools that want to teach this in their school, looking now ahead to the 26-27 school year. On our website there, you can find out more information about registering a teacher in the summer of this upcoming summer to learn to be able to offer the course in your school and partner with us on this. Chris, do we have any questions?
No new questions have come in.
Great. The backbone of our outreach services at VSAC that we've been describing are our programs that directly serve students. Our Gear Up and Talent Search programs are in more than 80 middle and high schools across the state, serving over 3,500 students annually, as well as more students in post-secondary. To be eligible for VSAC programs, students are typically first in their family to pursue education after high school and or from a modest income background. And the links that are provided here and that'll be on our website in the PowerPoint presentation as well tell you more about each program, the schools it serves, and how to get in touch with the VSAC counselor at that school. If you have any questions as well, my email address is at the end of this presentation, and I'm always a resource about these programs as well. Our VSAC Aspirations partnerships are a little bit different from our work that supports students directly in schools. These provide support to school leaders, focusing on the development of equitable post-high school planning systems, essentially ensuring that every student at the school has a plan for after graduation. So again, this is a model that's focused on VSAC working with the adults in a school building to build on existing strengths and deepen a culture of college and career focus. We typically partner with a school for 3 to 4 years on an Aspirations partnership. We're currently proudly partnering with Harwood Union School, Missisquoi, Brattleboro, and Oxbow. And we are seeking schools for upcoming years to partner. This is a free program that's supported through the Vermont Legislature, but it does require a time commitment from school and school leaders. If that's something that you think might be interesting to you to have this additional VSAC support to capitalize on great things your school is already doing, you could reach out to Ellen Bagnato, whose email is there in the presentation. She is our colleague who leads that work. More recently, VSAC has added a partnership with Higher Ability and the Pathways to Partnerships program, and this provides staff to the schools that are listed here to provide workshops for students who have an IEP or a 504. The workshops are designed both to help students think creatively about what might come next in their future, as well as to prepare them for more in-depth work with a Higher Ability transitions counselor and that more one-on-one support in planning their futures. This is something that we're looking to scale up in the future and have been piloting in partnership with Higher Ability for about a year now. And again, the schools listed here, there's a VSAC counselor who will be providing workshops in partnership with the school and setting the schedule and cadence for those with the school in which we are guests, but to students who are receiving 504 or IEP supports. And as many of you know, VSAC also serves adult students. VSAC's Educational Opportunity Center, EOC, serves students ages 19 and older who don't already have a bachelor's degree and who are modest income or first generation. And the website listed here at the bottom will tell you more about how to find the EOC counselor for your region. Many of you who work in schools, these are the parents of the students that you work with. And for our agency partners, our EOC counselors are available to support your work with adult students as well. I think this might be our last pop quiz. You've hung till the end.
It is the last one. I'll get this launched.
VSAC's newest work with hireability and pre-ETS supports students who have a 504 or IEP plan to support their success, are considering studying a trade after high school, or are excellent musicians.
We quickly surpassed 76%, so I'm going to pull
great
down the
job.
poll and share results.
And the correct answer is that they have 504 or IEP plans to support their success, but really they could be those other things too. They could be excellent musicians, and they could be planning a trade opportunity after high school. So a little bit tricky there, but they have to at least be having an IEP or 504 to support their success.
You got the cogwheel turning.
That's right. Any final questions?
Nothing has come in.
Here's my contact information and Jodie's contact information. We know this is a long morning to sit through online. We really appreciate that you've hung to the end. We'll welcome any additional questions that have come to mind because we don't have any additional slides for you. These materials will be up on our website for you to review at your own pace. Thank you again for hanging with us. Really appreciate your partnership and support as navigators for all of the students across Vermont.